bit nicer, but here's Jeff Luxon out to Andy McClure. Here's Archer out to Manara, gives it out to Jones. Try to release the ball, but he's well wrapped up by Chris Charles. Salford loose forward. Henderson out to Archer, back inside to Luxon. Coming up the blind side again, Henderson back inside again, Archer. Held up by Bowker. Last tackle. Henderson out to Luxon, Manara again. Puts it high. Alan Hunt deep though. It's knocked forward by Yerebar now. It'll be play on. 0 tackle. Salford will play it 10 metres from their own try line.
But another good 6 from Barrow. They're really putting the pressure on the Salford defence, and the kick was absolutely in the right place and wasn't taken cleanly. And well, we've seen kicks like that and the bounce of the ball going the way of the attackers more often than not, but Salford having the rub of the green at the moment. 2 try-scoring half chances that Barrow have not been able to take, and Salford struggling to get any forward momentum going. Paul Heighton's going forward outside his 40. Salford lined up with options right and left. Come around quickly. So it's going to Radney Bowker for the kick downfield, but an easy take.
It's brought away by Bauer, Craig Bauer. Salford at the moment, Steve, seem to be going for a bit of brute power, I think, more than using these backs. They've got classy backs in Clinch and Bowker, and then out wide you've got Beverley and Alan Hunt and Co, but they seem to be going down the middle at the moment.
Yeah, you're quite right, and it's not really paying off for them, is it? Barrow are good on defence.
Well, it was left by Jamie Marshall, but I think it was forward anyway, and they've handed the ball over, and this is what Barrow coaching duo of Dean Marwood and Cameron Bell said they did too much of it working and they wanted it cutting out. Here's Cliff Beverley, wrapped up by Atkinson.
And that was poor Salford play really, because there was not even one pass from the acting half. And the tackling so good from Barrow that pass was taken, the Salford player already stationary. Jason Flowers is trying to force a way through. Now, this is the closest that Salford have been to the Barrow line for some time, and they're still 30 metres out. Little kick over from Clinch into space. He's running, has to be played. The chase from Arnold, not that good. And the Barrow winger, who was that, did well to keep the ball in play and keep himself in play. And again, the Barrow defence, a match for the Salford attack.
Yeah, that was young Jamie Marshall, scored a full-length try last week at Workerton. Workerton kicked through, they looked like they were going to score. Jamie Marshall picked it up over his own try line, and the next thing he was under the sticks at the other end.
Well, that's brilliant. Those are the really ones you remember, aren't they, tries like that?
That's right. The last one I think we seen down here was Billy Burgess, and of course Billy Burgess went on to play for Salford. Billy Burgess, I think, a guest today here of Barrow. Also David Cairns, another good servant for Barrow and Salford, Steve.
Oh yes. Salford still defending, Hunt taking the kit, but just not able to get around the first line of Barrow defenders. Hunt again can't make any ground forward, and certainly there's something special about the cup that raises players' games. Neil Baines on for Andy Coley on the Salford side. 12 interchanges this season. It's going to be different team every few minutes, and again Salford have got nothing to do but kick, and nicely taken out there by, who was that on the leg by Shane? That was excellent, but a good chase, and that is a brilliant tackle from the Salford City Reds, pushing him back 7 or 8 metres.
And Barrow have brought on another substitution. It's Dave Clark coming back after a long layoff. I'm just trying to see who is replaced. And it's Staten who's on for Wayne Jones. And here's Dave Clark now, shows the dummy. Forward pass is given.
I think it was a penalty for crossing, I think.
Is it?
Oh, no.
And an obstruction.
But it was another good Barrow attack, and they created an opening on the far side, and they were unlucky that it should end in that way. So if this was a boxing match on points, Barrow miles ahead at the moment, and Salford struggling to get into the Barrow half. So that's disappointing from the Salford City Reds. They've still got in the pack the nucleus of the team that was in Super League last year, and it's not showing so far in this game. 21 minutes gone, but now there's a chance for the Salford City Reds just inside the Barrow half with 6 to come, as Neil Lowe takes it forward. Baines is there, wants to go and do some damage, but Baines not finding it easy. Not Paul Heighton. Clinch onto Rodney Bowker. Oh, that's an interesting play. Simon Baldwin, though, well wrapped up by 2 defenders. Malcolm Alker in support. Salford fans not happy about something, but Salford have a chance. Well, they have a penalty for that. I think the referee responding a little bit to whatever the Salford City Reds fans saw up there. But Salford getting on with it quickly, going for the 6. Neil Baines passes the ball on. Rodney Bowker holds it up, and in the end, it's the gang tackle puts him down 10 metres out. So Salford shunning the 2 to go for the 6. Gavin Clinch fancies his chances on his own, can't quite reach out to score. Alker gets it over to Neil Baines, so Neil Baines will go forward on his own. Nice release of the ball, but still the defence from the Borough Raiders superb. Salford not moving the ball wide. They are doing now, but that defence for the Raiders is as good out wide as it is up the middle. But Salford perhaps 3 or 4 metres short from the Barrow line. Oh, but the ball goes down, a chance goes a-begging, and Salford at the moment looking second best.
Yeah, looking second best, but they're looking a little bit dangerous. They're starting to get on a roll a little bit. They're gaining good yards at the moment, I think. You just need to get a little bit more organised. Obviously, this lack of game showing at the moment. This new half-back pairing, of course, Gavin Clinch and Rodney Bowker. I know that Steve Blakely, is missing. Class standoff, Steve Blakely. Rodney Bowker, no mug light, but... And that's a bad sign. It's Steve Jackson being led off the field. It looks like a shoulder injury.
Number 11, Steve Jackson.
And it's Licker who comes back on the field. So Barrow trying to bring it away from their own try line. It's Shane Idabor, takes it up to 10 metres away from the try line. Here's Archer, out to Luxon. He's well tackled by Alker and Simon Baldwin. Pull back. Here's Liku, back on the field, but he runs straight into Paul Heighton. Henderson. Out to Atkinson. Brought down by Chris Charles. Barrow struggling though. 3 tackles. They've only gained about 12 metres. Here's Henderson. Scoots away. Gets out to Bauer. He's well tackled. Just 10 metres inside his own half. Now then, it'll come back to Manahara for the kick up the field. And that's a big kick. It's going to turn Salford. Now then, can they get a mistake here again? It's good defence. Good tackle by Chris Archer. And Andy McClure chasing. Here's Beverley. Wrapped up by his Aussie mate, Dave Clark. Both big mates here, Dave Clark and Cliff Beverley.
It was a brilliant kick that made the position because it was into space. Salford fullback was over on the right and left winger was on the left. And so they had to run almost as far as the kicker, and the chase was absolutely first class. But now there's an overlap if it comes. It is coming, and it goes back on to Arnold. Play continues. It wasn't forward that time. I think that was fair. but the Barrow defence just don't let Salford get that forward momentum, and again it's left to Clinch for a kick. That's a high one. It's going a long way, and that's a superb take. Superb take.
Yeah, it's Craig Bauer again. It's good on the eye ball, is Craig Bauer. So he's still struggling with the injuries and just probably lacking a little bit of pace, but when he's back there and safe like that. Crowd shouted there for a forward pass, but it was a good pass out to Beverley. Beverley slipped out the back door, Arnold. But again, the Barrow cover got across. Liku plays the ball out to Manahara. Nice ball out to Jones. Tries to spin round in the tackle, but he's pulled down by Stuart Little. Here's Stanton. Loses the ball, but it goes Barrow's way. It's play on. It's picked up by Paul Jones. And it's the last tackle again. Manara dummies the kick, puts it through. Now then, kick and chase. Oh, well dropped by Cliff Beverley, but he's lost the ball. It's play on. It's out to Marshall. Gets away from one. He's going for the corner. Oh, and he's given forward. No way was that a forward. Has he give a penalty? What's he give? Well, I don't know where he got forward from there, Steve. It looked all right here.
I agree. I don't see what was wrong with that try at all. Certainly the ball bounced unkindly, but it looked as though it was Beverley that had the ball and dropped it, and it was play on from that. But maybe he decided that the Barrow player knocked it out of Beverley's hands. But a harsh decision, and that try would have been just reward for Barrow's superiority in this early part of the game.
Yeah, it'll be one to look at the video, that one. It looked okay, like I say, but Beverley did have his back to us, and now the ball come loose. We don't know. It may have been a Barrow hand. And we always knock the referees, but I can tell you, when we play back these videos a lot of times, 9 times out of 10 they're correct. But a let off there for Salford as they come away with the ball.
I think it's as they try to come away with the ball, because the Barrow Raiders are tackling so well, as you would expect, and Salford not quite as yet having the guile or that something extra to create a try opening. Moving it nicely, Charles, though, again well wrapped up by his defenders. Malcolm Walker gets it onto Neil Baines. Good for yardage from Neil Baines. It's the last tackle. Now, Clinch, the kick, it's the high one. He's hanging. The chase is good this time, but the try scorer, disallowed try scorer, doing a sterling job yet again. Jamie Marshall on the defence.
And I'm pleased to see they're taking these balls, Steve, because it's not been the best of Barrow's game for a season or two now. They've been dropping balls, tag lag and kick throughs, they've fumbled, but today everything's sticking at the moment. And it's Jeff Luxon, runs into Radney Bowker. Here's Dave Clark looking for a runner, but there's nobody there. He's well wrapped up by Andy Coley. Well, last tackle, seems a quick last tackle. It's out to Bauer, but it's fifth tackle. They could have done with getting the ball up. So a chance here for Salford, and a quick play of the ball. Picked up by Little, but he's well wrapped up by Paul Jones. Gavin Clinch in at dummy half. He's going to find Neil Law. So we move it in the last 10 minutes, and it's Salford on the attack. The 20 metres from the Barrow try line. Here's Baines, spins out of one tackle. Strong lad, ex-Wigan man Neil Baines. Malcolm Alker hasn't gone from dummy half yet. Barrow stretched here a little bit if they can use the ball properly, and it is, and it's a good try. You could see Barrow was stretched, and it's the centre, Stuart Littler, who goes in.
Yeah, and the first time we've seen some cohesive handling from Clinch onto Charles, and it was Charles just running at a gap that just sucked in a Barrow defender to create the possibility of a pass which was successful to Stuart Littler, and Stuart Littler had a straightforward run in, but the pass really was the one that made the try from Chris Charles. And Salford, I think, will be extremely relieved, because for the first half hour of this game they've been second best to Barrow. Barrow had their chances and unable to capitalise on them, and with probably only the first real chance of the game, Salford have come up with a score which takes them into the lead for the first time, 4-2, and settles a few nerves. And Clinch, his conversion, the fans tell us it's successful before the flags go up. 6-2, and a first Salford score after half an hour. But a Barrow performance that is going to augur well, surely, for what's going to come in this season.
Yeah, they've had a good 30 minutes, but the scoreboard saying 6-2 at the moment. And as soon as that ball was played, and it was I don't know whether it was Clinch who went dummy half, Steve, but as soon as it was played, you could see that Salford had men over, and it just needed that nice pass, and the big gap was there. Barrow made another substitution. Bauer's gone off. He's replaced by Adam Pate. Alan Hunt, strong man is Alan Hunt. It takes 2 men to bring him down. Now Barrow need to stop Salford here. You can see they're getting on a roll. They're getting the yards. And they've brought a substitute on. It's David Eighton. Clinch back inside to Charles, try to get the ball away. And I think it's Malcolm Mulker that's gone off, is it? Oh, no, he's over there.
Oh, great hands that time. And for the first time we've seen Salford actually handling this ball, a confidence of a try, and David Heighton injection of determination and pace. And Malcolm Mulker will play out in the second row. Oh, Malcolm Mulker's seen the try line on his own, and what a brilliant solo try. What you were saying a couple of minutes ago, he'd not had a run from dummy half. We bring David Heighton comes on. Malcolm Mulker from something like 12 metres out suddenly felt that maybe the intensity of the Barrow tackling had fallen off a little bit, saw the line and just forced his way over, and Salford's second try gives the score a bit of a flattering look at this stage in the proceedings, but Malcolm Mulker showing what pace he's got off the mark.
Yeah, it was my man of the match here last time they played, Malcolm Mulker. I thought he'd gone off, and then I noticed him out wide, and he just picked up that ball, and there was a big gap. Barrow have just changed the full-back, maybe Pate not settled his cell in, but he was nowhere to be seen, and Malcolm Mulker just goes in by the post, and that's converted by Gavin Clinch to make it 12 points to 2. And that's been a nice 3 minutes, Steve, for Salford.
It has. That from one point of view it's been a long time coming, because they really couldn't do anything against the Barrow defence, and all of a sudden 2 tries in 3 minutes turned the complexion of this game, particularly with the conversions, and particularly when you think you'll be able to look back on it and think how hard done by Barrow were earlier on. It just reminds you how important first scores are in the game, and how important it is to convert pressure into points. Easy to say from up here, isn't it? And it's obvious, but it's so true time and time again. Neil Baines takes it forward. Malcolm Mulker going wide. I think he's in the second row, in the wide second row berth. And again, that pass seemed suspiciously like it drifted forward. David Heighton. Oh, nice hand. Great hands again. A suggestion of forward from the crowd, if nobody else. Salford playing it so flat. Radney Bowker almost having to stop to go back for the pass, but takes it safely. And great quick hands midfield. Bowker's got it again, and on to Simon Baldwin, but Salford just a little bit standing still that time after a period of bright handling, which David Heighton to Clinch quickly onto Flowers, kicks over into space, but the kick too far, and a good take even though with the sun in his eyes. Who's at full back now then?
It's
Adam Pate. It was a good take with the ball coming at him out of the sun.
Yeah, the crowd starting shouting offsides and forwards, but just Salford getting on top at the moment. They put a big set of 6 in here. Here's Dave Clark. Tries to get back on the inside, but he's wrapped up by Olker. Atkinson. Barrow now then not deep enough. Here's Jeff Luxon, tries to straighten up. Gets it over the halfway line. Quick play of the ball out to Manahara. Big kick high. It's going to be right into Alan Hunt's hands. He's lost it. Now then, Barrow could do with some points here. It was touched by Hunt. So they're causing a few mistakes, Steve, with the kicks.
Yeah, well, I know you were singing Hunt's praises. He's not the safest of wingers under the high ball, and it was shown then. So yeah, a score from Barrow now will put them right back into the game.
Yeah, and with just 4 minutes of this half remaining, there may be a minute or so of injury time and stop the clock to get a ball, but it won't be much. Barrow need to get on the board. Here's Manahara back inside to McClure. Just pulled down a yard short. Good cover from the second rows. Here's Henderson, try to find the gap out to Manahara. Back out to Archer, but it's lost. 1 pass too many.
Well, yeah, but it was so unlucky because that change of direction, that final pass, really created an opening, and that's going to be the story of Barrow's first half. The so nearly tries. And it was early in the tackle count as well. A let-off for the City Reds, without a doubt. As Hunt is coming in from his wing. Having a busy first half, Alan Hunt. Oh, Malcolm Alker crossing in front, but the referee didn't penalise anybody. And Hunt's there again, trying to squirm his way forward. Still going right. David Heighton shrugs off, and Alan Hunt there yet again. Well, Alan Hunt's been involved in 3 of the 4 Salford City Reds tackles in this 6. Good running from Charles. Well, the running was threatening. It was Charles's running and pass that brought Salford's first try. But now it's left to forward pass given. We've seen more forward passes not given perhaps, but again Barrow defence coming up trumps, and just when we thought 2 tries in 3 minutes Salford might get on top, Barrow showing they've got other ideas.
Yeah, they need to get points on that board though. We've got 2 minutes remaining, and maybe last chance here for Barrow by the time they got this set of 6. It's Luxon, he'll drive the ball forward, gets out the tackle, busts through the tackle. Now then, it's a good cover up by David Heighton. Barrow on the attack again, out to Manahara. Now then, what can they do? Manahara runs at the line, gives a deep ball out to Pate, coming in from the full-back position, but well wrapped up by the Salford defence. It's Chris Charles again. Clark goes up the blind side, back inside to Jones. Good tackle from the Salford Coley, the prop forward. Here's Manahara again, long ball out to Archer, tries to find the gap. Tackled by Beverley, last tackle, 10 metres short again. Barrow here on the attack. Manahara, what's he going to do? Little kick through, but he left it behind. Salford holding out again, and that's the difference at the moment. Salford have kept the line intact. I know Barrow's defence has been good, but Salford's has been equally as good near the line, Steve.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because Barrow have created the better chances, both in terms of quality and in quantity. Now there's a chance for that side on the City Reds. If it goes, it is going. Malcolm Alker trying to take men on, comes back inside, but again the cover defence from the Border Raiders on the stroke of half-time brings to the end of first half that's been an enthralling first half, and a scoreline which flatters the Salford City Reds but gives the Barrow Raiders hope for the second half.
Yeah, and it's been a quick half here. It's been an enjoyable half. We'll go through the first half scoring. It was 5 minutes when the penalty went to Barrow and Atkinson converted to make it 2-0. Barrow had plenty of chances, but they couldn't get over the line. But a turning point was on 28 minutes. It looked a perfectly good try by Jamie Marshall, but the referee or the linesman seen a little knock on and he pulled Barrow back. The scrum was 20 metres from the Salford line. Salford worked the ball back down the field, and then on 30 minutes it was a try, a nice work try by Stuart Littley. Lovely ball from Gavin Clinch, found Stuart Littley, just cut back inside and went near the post to put the first score on the board for Salford. That was minute 4-2, converted by Clinch 6-2, and it just took 3 minutes later. It was a try from the hooker, Malcolm Malker. I thought he'd gone off, but he was out wide. He scooped the ball up and went through a big gap and go by the post to make it 10-2. That was converted by Clinch to make it an half-time score of Barrow 2, Salford 12. Barrow maybe feel a little bit hard done by going in 10 points behind, but last time they were here there was half-time of 18-12. It ended up 34-18. Barrow won't want that. They'll want to get right back in this game, and I think they need to score more or less straight after half-time. So we'll sign off the first half. Barrow trailing 12 points to 2. Here we go for the second half. It's Barrow trailing 12 points to 2. Mr. Taberner won't be welcomed here after disallowing that try for Barrow. Well, we take it was Mr. Taberner, could have been the linesman. But the penalty count, not too bad really. 4 to Salford, 2 to Barrow. So the way it's set off, we thought we were going to have one of them games where there was going to be loads of penalties and not much flowing football, but both teams settled down and a good first half, entertaining.
We've got 2 special guests here this afternoon, players who have played for both Barrow and Salford. We've got the great Dave Keynes, he's here, Great Britain International, a member of the Barrow Lancashire Cup winning side, and he played for Barrow from 1978.
So away we go, Salford kicking deep. It's taken by Pate, he gives it to Liku. So Barrow could do with 6 points early here. Here's Stanton, ex-rugby union man. Luxon. Straight into Neil Baines and Malcolm Holker. Dave Clark. Brought down by Malcolm Holker. Henderson out to Manahara. Henderson scoots down the blind side. Last tackle, Atkinson. Oh, straight. Can't be offside now then. It's danger time here. What's he give there? Understand what he's give there, Steve?
I think we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But it's interesting that offside rule because Simon Baldwin was, we're giving it for pulling back or holding back, so the penalty going Barrow's way. And Keith, you were saying Barrow, to get back into this game, need to score first and early in this second half, and in the right position to do it.
A bit unsure what they're going to do. They're going to have a go at goal.
That's a surprise.
That'll still make an 8-point difference.
Yeah.
We can't really say what that penalty was for. I don't know if it was holding back or it was knocked out by a Salford man and taken by second row man Simon Baldwin. But if it was knocked out, it would be a penalty for raking out 2 men in the tackle. If it was 1 man in the tackle and Simon Baldwin was in front, it'd be accidental offside, which would have been a scrum down. It's hanging, doesn't sound too good. It's off the post. It's chance now. Wow. Shane hit a ball, so So Barrow on the attack. Luckily, here's Liku. Runs into Alan Hunt. Might not turn out too badly for Barrow. Here's Henderson. Out to Manahara. Manahara finds Archer. Short ball to McClure, but he's well wrapped up by Radney Bowker. 10 metres short the Salford try line. Archer scoots, gives it out to Luxon. Luxon out to Marshall. He's well wrapped up by Danny Arnold. 5 metres short. Here's Atkinson. Shows the ball. Tries to get through the gap, but Salford not falling for that one. It's thrown to the ground. Last tackle. Manahara out to Henderson. Little kick through. It's going to be taken by Hunt. Gets away well, there's Alan Hunt. But Salford camped on their own try line. They've got to bring it out.
Well, Keith, the second half started off like the first, with Barrow on top and threatening on the Salford line, and it was an excellent kick through, and Hunt made the most of the ball sitting up nicely for him, and then did well to stay in the field of play. And it's Salford going forward well now with some conviction, but Barrow tackling firmly still. We got to the 6-1, Salford inside their own half. Clinch for the kick that's going deep, but the Barrow defenders are there to take that one.
Yeah, it's taken by Jamie Marshall, but it's a good chase. It's Radney Bowker up there bringing him down. Adam Pate's going to have to run it out. He's got nobody there. Good play from the young fullback. He's just taking it up. That's all he needs to do. Let his Barrow men get back. He's brought down by Chris Charles. Dave Clark tries to show the ball, but wrapped up by Andy Coley. Henderson not gone much from dummy half in the first half, but well pulled down there by David Eighton. Manahara. It's kicked down deep, but it's going to be easily fielded by Jason Flowers. Oh, and he throws the ball down, but it's a Barrow knock on, I think. No, it's a Barrow knock on. It was Jamie Marshall who got his hand to it. That's why it went loose.
Yeah, but it was a great chase from Jamie Marshall. He'd seen that the kick was coming, and it was perhaps just a little couple of yards offside, but it made it into an excellent kick and was there to knock the ball down. But Salford have possession nonetheless. And Malcolm Olker playing in unaccustomed position, but one which is fast becoming accustomed to, and that's barging run from Neil Baines, well applauded by City Reds fans, and that's an excellent 15 metres from David Heighton from a standing start. Clinch is in the line as always. Charles looks for his runners, and Malcolm Olker is there in support, but Barrow tackling firmly. It's going to Clinch for the kick, but it comes to Charles instead. He's looking for support. Where is it? Well, who's going to get it? Now here's a chance for Barrow. Great take, great control.
Yeah, well played by Shane Idaball there. Thought he might have kicked it down the field, but he just kicked out of the way of Alan Hunt and dropped on the ball to get position. Well, the crowd are playing heck about the 10 metres, but he must be about 14, 15 metres back, Mr. Taberner, and we know that a lot of good referees take them back the 14 metres. They let them gain a yard or two, but they're still well onside. Here's Liku. Barrow get back into the Salford half. Atkinson out to Manahara. Back to Stainton. He's well tackled by Clinch. Manahara acting half-back. Shows it one way, shows it another. Tries a little chip through, but it's too deep. It's taken by Jason Flowers. There's a big gap here, and he's got through. Good cover back by Davy Clark.
Yeah, it was a probing kick through, but Jason Flowers has saw an opening and used his pace to get through. Great release of the ball, but is that going to be... No, it went backwards, says the referee, so Barrow defence a little bit spread-eagled at the moment. Salford can't take advantage in that play, but they still have a good position. 30 out. Davin Clinch quickly to Jason Flowers. But again, the ball not going straight to hand for the City Reds, and so Barrow can make the tackle is decisive. Goes out to Simon Baldwin. Looks to pass, doesn't. Barrow defenders get hold of him, drag him almost into touch. Now, is it coming right? Barrow is out to clinch. The Reds are the runners. Heightens the runner, but he drops the ball, and that's going to be a knock on that time. And Salford, not really as cohesive as a supporter you want to see them, because that was an excellent attacking opportunity, and in the end it was just an elementary mistake, in the sense that there was nothing on it. It was orthodox passing, and there's something about the lines that, as you said earlier, Keith, there's something about the lines that are a little bit too flat, aren't they? You can understand why, but Barrow have the chance.
Yeah, it was David Heighton who dropped that, and I must admit I've been pretty impressed with David Heighton since he come on. He come on the field and Salford ended up getting the 12 points, but I think he took his eye off that ball. It was one from Gavin Clinch. Wasn't a bad ball to take, but I think he had an eye on the man coming at him and he knocked it down. But it's Barrow coming away. They're just short of the halfway line on the attack. Henderson out to Manara. Well, if Barrow give him that ball, it's a penalty, because David Heighton's second man in. Henderson scoots again. Of course, Andy Henderson, an ex-Salford man. Here's Shane Idabort. It's last tackle, out to Archer. Barrow need to get rid of it. It's last tackle. It's over the top, Andy McClure. They're going to be caught in possession. Luxon tries a little kick through. To chase by Marshall. Which well dropped on by Flowers. Good tackle from Jamie Marshall on Danny Arnold. Salford struggling to get out. Here's Coley, the prop forward. Nice ball out to Beverley. He's pulled down by Chris Archer. Jason Flowers, he's brought down by Wayne Jones and Henderson. Well, that is a very big 10. Bowker out to Clinch. Long ball over the top. Good tackle by Paul Jones on Stuart Littler, the try scorer. Malcolm Alker out to Clinch. Clinch shows the ball. Oh, and Barrow not coming to it. It's Bowker. Now then, oh, well dropped back by Shane Idabort. Picks it up, loses the ball, gets away with it. Unlucky there, Steve.
Yeah, that was an interesting period of play as well, but at the end of it, it's Barrow who come up trumps, because they keep Salford out again.
Yeah, a little bit of luck there for Barrow. Shane Idabort lost the ball, but regathered. Here's Jeff Luxon. Tackled by Heighton and Coley. He's got through a bit of work, this prop forward. And a knock on given. And another substitution. It looks like Phil Atkinson having to go off, so that's a blow for Barrow. In Phil Atkinson, he could create something, Phil Atkinson, but he's another one holding his shoulder. Paul Gardner coming on, so Dave Clark will probably drop into loose forward now. As Clinch feeds, comes out to Littler. Littler takes on Jones. Good cover across by Barrow again. Good work from Gardner, breaking out the second row. Here's Glinch. Oh, that was well forward. And I don't think he needed the linesman for that one, Steve.
No, absolutely not. And maybe this is Malcolm Alker, not perhaps used to taking passes. For years he's just been the giver of passes and overrunning the ball.
So it's Barrow coming away with Pate, but he's well tackled by his opposite number, Jason Flowers. Dragged back 5 metres. Still no score, 12 minutes in this half gone. Salford will be happy with it at the moment. They'd probably like another score, but Here's Henderson out to Clark. Clark finds Paul Gardner. He's trying to break through, but he's pulled down by Alker and Clinch. Henderson out to Manahara, shows the ball again. Try to find a way through, but he's wrapped up. Gets the ball away. It's back to 6, is it? Another set of 6. Well, he's not give it, but it was definitely touched by a Salford man. And the kick deep, Janie Marshall chases. He's gone too fast though. Jason Flowers gets away from him, but he's well covered by Chris Archer.
Keith and Barrow are competing incredibly well. I don't mean that in any other way than I'm very impressed with the Barrow effort. 13 minutes into the second half, Salford are the full-time team, and you can't see it in what we're seeing at the moment. Maybe the last 20 minutes extra fitness might show itself. Oh, there's Salford's new boy. That's Haggett. Oh, and all of a sudden Heighton's on his own, goes round his man, oh, and trips over his own feet, and he's in the end pulled down. But that was great running from David Heighton. Barrow defence is there to make sure he doesn't get up. There's a big overlap this side. Is it coming? No, it's not. Interception, ball not taken, and a knock-on will go the way of the Salford City Reds. But we had the arrival of Gareth Haggerty. First time we've seen him in a Salford shirt, and it was his offload that created the opportunity for David Heighton. He fell over his own feet for some reason. Great attempt to get the ball out wide, and yet for all that, if it was taken by the Barrow men, there was possibilities for Barrow.
Yeah, he's a good player, Paul Jones, and if he'd have got away there, it'd have been a nice chase, because he's a strong runner, fast runner. Oh, Bowker's found the gap, and he's going to score, and it's Radney Bowker, the ex-Barrow man. He'll enjoy that one, I think, in a way. Goes in by the post, and we've seen him do that many a times at Barrow. It looks like he's never running, but he has the pace. Barrow left a big gap, and he went through it for a nice try from Radney Bowker.
Yeah, it was, and again, that settled Salford's nerves, if there were any nerves of jangling. Haggerty conspicuous in the first attack, but that's sweet hands across to Radney Bowker, who was running straight, and all of a sudden there was an opening that he had the wisdom, the vision to see, and the pace to go through and score Salford's third try of the afternoon, 16-2.
Yeah, it was a nice try. Nice player is Radney Bowker. He just seemed to go through there. The gap was there. Barrow never closed it up, and it's another 2 points from Clinch. And I know there's 25 minutes remaining, but I think that's Salford now going through at the next round. Barrow are going to struggle to get back to that now. They've done plenty of attacking, and say Salford broke away. That again coming from what we thought was another set of 6, but Mr. Taberner looked at his linesman. His linesman never scrubbed them off. He hadn't seen anything, but I think definitely a Salford man touched the ball. Should have been another set of 6, but Barrow had to kick downfield, and it ended up in the hands of the sub, Gareth Haggerty, son of Roy Haggerty. Roy Haggerty was a player here at Barrow a few years ago. He used to run like that. And it's the man who set it up was David Heighton. I've been very impressed with him since he come on. And here's Haggerty again. And Salford starting to run at angles here at the moment.
And Olker's pace over 50 metres is brilliant. Oh, great long pass out. It wasn't forward. Arnold stays in play just. Again, good covering from the Border Raiders. The Salford City Reds fans, something to cheer about at last. Stuart Littler goes to Lee Marsh. Gets it out to Clinch. Clinch holds it up. But again, the tackling good on him in the centre of the field. It's the last tackle. David Heighton sets things moving. Lee Marsh, a little kick over into space, but the kick much too deep.
Well taken by Pate. Shouts for an high tackle there by Stuart Littler, but I think it was just hand-to-hand sort of pushy. Here's Andy McClure. Barrow at bit 6s and 7s at the moment. They've brought on Craig Bauer. And I can't see who Craig Bauer's come on for at the moment. Barrow now look like they're a defeated team out there. They can't break this Salford defence down now. And they look like at the moment they've got about 4 men short. Here's Bauer back on the field, straightens up, but he's well tackled by, I think it's Heighton. Manahara kicks the ball down the field. It's going to be picked up by Hunt. He's taking on one of the smallest men on the field, but it's a good tackle by Archer.
Yeah. Well, it was an excellent chase. It was a chase at full pelt, and the tackle was first class around Hunt's legs. So some respite in this period for Barrow. And Salford's still having to work hard to find any sort of opening. Barrow, well, the referee is taking them back good 15 that time. Hands, good long pass out to Alka deciding not to pass. Oh, Hunt getting in the right mess, taking his eye off the ball. Well, perhaps he can afford a little smile, or is it a grimace now with the 18-2 scoreline? In different circumstances, that could have been very important.
Yeah, bad mistake there from Al Nunt, but they've got this 16-point cushion at the moment. So I don't think he's that much bothered. As Wayne Jones is brought down by Paul Heighton. Here's Dave Clark, slips on the greasy service. Henderson, acting half-back, finds Wayne Jones. Takes it up to within 20 metres of the Salford try line. Henderson in at dummy half, gives it out to Archer. Cuts back inside, gives it to McClure. Tries to get away from Haggerty, I think it is, but he's brought down. 12 metres short. Barrow on the attack. Clark out to Manahara. Manahara with Clark again. Tries a little kick through, but it's regathered by number 10, Paul Heighton. Are they related, Paul and David, Steve?
No, not at all, no. But you're right, David Heighton has caught the eye, as he has in each of Salford's games this season. Nice change of direction, and Alka, look at Alka, great pass, great fancy, great play from the City Reds. Who's there for it? Well, who wants it? Oh, it's going to go, the referee's going to stop it for the first knock on, or forward pass or something, but Alka getting the chance out wide to use his pace. But Salford, for all that, get the put in. I think I'd have been inclined to let play go on after all that a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was play on. It was a Barrow hand, the complaining, but it was actually Paul Gardner who got an hand to it. Couldn't pull it in, and it did go loose, and I would have given play on another set of 6 to Salford. But Mr. Taberner said it was here, there and everywhere. He decides we'll tidy it up, we'll have a scrum down on the halfway line. But it is going to be Salford's head and ball as we go into the last quarter of the game, Steve.
Right. Oh, nice little blindside move, good pass on. Cliff Beverley can't get away, but he can get his pass on to Alan Hunt. Barrow fans claiming for obstruction as Hunt ran behind a Salford player. That was flat ball to Haggerty, who forces his way through. Oh, and a great release, great pass of the ball from Haggerty. That is going to cause problems. Haggerty's showing great ability there. Clinch wants to go on his own, and sensibly, because Barrow defenders were prevented the route for the pass. Heighton looks for somebody. Alka's the somebody. Cliff Beverley next in the line, but has to just slow down to take the pass. Clinch to Jason Flowers. Jason Flowers scored two tries in each of the opening 2 games, not today yet. Nice long pass out, but Littler is bundled into touch, and at the end of it, that is magnificent Barrow defence. It really looks looking good for Barrow, I think, this coming season, because many teams might well just let their heads go down thinking with only 20 minutes to go maybe they're not going to win this one. But Barrow's tackling there, Keith, is outstanding again.
Yeah, that was good scrambling defence, because when that ball was played there was men over for Salford, but Barrow rallied up and got over there, pushed Stuart Littler to the to the touchline and got the ball back. Here's Henderson. Runs into Charles. Dave Clark finds Manahara. Manahara gives it to Paul Gardner. But Salford's strong defence now. Egerty rolling Gardner onto his back. Gets up, plays it. Henderson scoots from the dummy half. Nice ball out to Bauer, but well stopped by the Salford defence. Here's Manahara. What's he going to do? Tries a little chip through. Easily picked up by Jason Flowers though. Barrow tried everything, I think, Steve, and I don't think they're going to get over this Salford line.
No, perhaps not. Perhaps it's going to be one of those days for them, but a good little kick and great chase and tattle from Archie yet again. Haggerty going off, having certainly had impact in the 10 minutes perhaps that he's been on the field, and helped Salford to that position that gave them their try of this second half. Look at Olker's pace, look at that, that's brilliant, isn't it? And great release of the ball to Heighton, and Paul Heighton going forward, that's brilliant. That, when you see it, you wonder why he couldn't do that. He's in a little kick over from clinch into space, the chasers are there, and has to be cleared, and is cleared, played dead, and Adam Pate doing well, doing just enough. So Salford certainly increasing the tempo of their game, Keith, now, but for all that, not converting it as yet into significant number of tries. Is that unfair of me to say that?
No, I don't think so, no, I think you're right. They've had plenty of pressure early on. They're struggling now, though, to get within 20 metres of Salford. Earlier on, they were getting within a few yards, but at the moment they're struggling to get within 20 metres of the Salford try line. And they're now like boxers on the ropes, actually, at the moment. They're taking a lot of hammering. They've obviously had a few injuries and they can't... they usually use... Cameron Bell usually uses his subs wisely here, but he's lost Atkinson, looks like a shoulder injury, and Steve Jackson with a shoulder injury, so it's a case of the troops that are out there are going to have to keep going, keep plugging away. They're trying the best at the moment, but...
They are plugging away, stopping Salford.
But here's David Heighton, changes direction, gives it out to Bowker, back inside, nice ball. Gets the ball away. Oh, I don't see no knock on there, Steve. It looked like he got the ball and it went backwards.
No, I think I'd have given that as a knock on. So where are we up to on the timing? 25 minutes of the second half, 15 minutes to go. And yet again the Barrow defence stands firm.
Barrow camped 10 metres from their own try line, though it's a long way to go. Here's Andy McClure, moves into the standoff position. He's well brought down by Jason Flowers. Here's Clark, out to Gardner. It's brought down by Chris Charles. Here's Jeff Luxon. Oh, loses possession again, that's bad play by Jeff Luxon, trying to get it going, but that's not the position to do it. Salford back on the attack again, as I say. Barrow on the ropes. Here's Bowker, lovely ball out, nice cover tackle by Jamie Marshall, wrapping up Ian Marsh, try to go up the blind side. Salford still going, still nearly got away from the tackle, but it's just a case of hands here maybe now. Marsh, Henderson coming out quickly, out to clinch. Barrow coming out well, get the ball away to Flowers, goes for the line. Oh, and it's a double movement, he's short. It's a penalty to Barrow. And somebody speaking out of turn. So it's another 10. And Malcolm Alcar having to pull over somebody, have a word with him. He wasn't happy with that decision by Mr. Taberner, but he was right there, he had a good view of it. So let off for Barrett. One try disallowed each now, as Henderson takes the tap. And first tackle, Barrow handing it over again. And it's Jeff Luxon again, I think, losing the ball. So it's going to be another set of 6 here for Barrow to defend.
Yeah, the force of the tackle dislodging the ball is the judgment of the referee, so Salford have a chance. Oh, great opens running then now. Can Jason, comes back inside to Littler. Littler's seen the line, but that cover defence is brilliant, and in the end Littler can't get over. Great attack for real space opening handling, good to see, but for all that, the Barrow scrambling defence absolutely superb, preventing what looked like a certain Salford score. Good switch of hands. Paul Heighton can't get over. Salford so close, but the ball goes down, and again the border radius keep him out. So what actually was noticeable then, Keith, was that even though Salford created that brilliant opening, they didn't have anybody with the pace to go over from 30 metres. Now that, from my point of view, is a bit of a worry really at this stage in the game.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier on, Salford's coach is Carl Addison, and they've played a lot of forward play today, big forwards running through, and we know that Cliff Beverley can score tries for fun if he gets a nice ball in an opening, but
not been getting it.
He hasn't been getting it, hasn't been getting clean early ball. The biggest man who has impressed me though is Malcolm Alker since he went to centre. He's run on the angle, he's come at pace, and yet Salford seem to struggle to get the ball out to him at times. Here's a move on here, it's Stuart Littler going for the line. Tackled by Paul Gardner. And it's a nice ball, Baines back on the field. Held up by the Barrow defence again. 2 metres short, but I think they may go over here, Salford. Heighton, clinch, tries to get the ball out. Kicks for the corner, there's nobody home. I don't think he's going to give it. I might come off his legs, Arnold, but I think it's going to be a knock-on. Yeah, he's given a knock-on, so another let-off, Steve, for Barrow.
Yeah, but the Barrow defence has been absolutely outstanding. Salford, I think when they just think back to this game, must wonder why they weren't able to create more chances with all the possession that they've had in this half, because they've had position. You never know what the percentages are or anything, but it's felt to me as though they've had more possession than Barrow, but only to score 1 try is disappointing.
Yeah, they seem to have had a lot of possession this second half, and it must be disappointing for Carl Addison thinking the ball that they've had and they've not put more points on the board. Obviously missing Steve Blakely in the middle, but not taking that away from David Heighton, because he's certainly been a punch to the Salford attack since he come on. And it's Wayne Jones takes it over the halfway line, but again 4 Salford players getting in, tackling him. Henderson scoops the ball up from dummy half, gives it Clark. Clark kicks down the field to chase by Jones. Flowers gets a foot to it and just allows it to go in touch, so it's going to be a scrum down 10 metres. But it's a weedy Barrow attack here. They're all walking down. Jeff looks over, maybe looking for a clock to see how long he's got left. We can tell him it's 10 minutes. We were saying through the week, Steve, that when it was raining it could be a bit of a leveller, and if we thought that if Barrow could get in front with the defence that they've had, they may cause an upset. But the defence has been there, but Salford, of course, got the 3 tries.
Yes. But Barrow in a good position to come up with their first try, and that'll be no more than they deserved. Putting the Salford defence under pressure, only 5 metres out. Nice little run in, holding the men off, great hands. The ball goes down, Marshall's there, and Marshall is going to claim it. And I don't think there's any doubt about that. And Marshall has caught the eye, there's no doubt about that. It was nice hands in the end. Arnold couldn't make the pass complete. Well, it's a long discussion. And the referee says it's a try, no more than they deserved. And there's nothing like conceding a try to stop your complacency, if that's what was just showing in that pretty defence itself. But no, all the credit goes to the Barrow attackers for holding it up nicely. In the end, Jamie Marshall's had a good game, hasn't he? And when he's done nothing wrong, and to get the score, he's the icing on his cake.
Yeah, he's done well. He's chased a lot of ball out there, as Jamie Marshall, when it looks like there's been nothing on. and that's keeping up a record of scoring in every game for young Jamie Marshall. Certainly a fast lad. Salford not very happy with that, but I think it was maybe they thought it might have gone forward, but it did come off a Salford hand. Now whether that propelled it forward or not, I don't know, but it was going to be a try when we seen Mr. Wharton run behind the dead ball line. He was happy with it, and it's 4 points for Jamie Marshall as Tanner Manahara tries the conversion. And it just dropped short. So with just 7 minutes remaining, it's 18 points to 6. If they can get another try and a goal now, it'll be a good last 5 minutes, Steve. But it'll be Gavin Clinch to restart. Well taken by Adam Pate. Gives it out to Jeff Luxon. Runs into Malcolm Alker. And they move Malcolm Alker back into the middle of the park. He's in the middle of the park again. Here's Wayne Jones. Bounces off one. Still going. Henderson out to Clark. Good drive from Dave Clark. Takes it up just short of the halfway. Henderson out to Manahara. Spins the ball out to Archer. Looking for the gap. Good ball out. Forward.
How unlucky can you be? Because that was thrilling rugby.
Yeah, it'd been a nice try if it had carried, but I think he was right. I think it was forward. Looked like it from up here. Crowd not very happy, but I think another good decision by Mr. Taberner. If he'd let it go, it'd have been a nice last 5 minutes. But as it is, it's a scrum down just inside the Salford half. It's Clinch, feeds, gives it out to Bowker. Bowker finds Marsh. He's brought down by Jones on the halfway line. Alker has moved it in the middle. He scoops it up from dummy half. Takes it up good 10 metres. Here's Neil Baines. Barrow not meeting him on the advantage line. He lets him get 10 metres. Alker out to Bowker. What's Bowker going to do? Looking for some... Oof. And that was a high tackle there from Wayne Jones. Gets away with it. Bowker having a talk with Wayne Jones, and Wayne Jones laughing as Salford attack again in the second row man, Neil Lowe. Last tackle, here's Aiton over the top. And the knock on, he allows it to go. Bowker's brought down. But Barrow's defence again holding out.
Yeah, another cracking 6 on defence from Barrow. And I don't know whether he actually picked that up before it reached the ground or whether it bounced to the ground and he picked it up. So, but it was a fair result that he shouldn't score after that, one way or the other.
Yeah, say we've all got a dozen eyes up here, but Mr. Taberner's the man that counts, and yeah, I think he's done all right, really. It's Barrow trying to keep the ball alive. It's Henderson. Just 4 minutes remaining. Here's Liku back on the field. Certainly, I think Salford going through at the next round, but they've certainly known they've been in a game. It's a kick over the top. It's a chase by Archer. A knock on from Danny Arnold. And they've not been very good on the kicks, Steve, either. They've done a few knock-ons, and I don't think Carl Allison will be too happy with the with that situation where they've put the ball to ground.
Today's Power Gen Challenge Cup man of the match is Salford's number 9, Malcolm Alker.
And Malcolm Alker taking the man of the match, I think justified really. David Aiton must have pushed him a little bit, but Malcolm, the man of the match. He was my man of the match in the last game, so maybe it's just come 3 years late. I think he deserved it last time, but they had the local lad Gary Broadbent playing, and I think the press decided that they'd give it him. And it's Barrow keeping the ball alive. Well, if they can go over here, we've still got 3 minutes left. Henderson out to Manahara, out to Gardner, but he's well wrapped up by Bowker. 3 metres short. Henderson down the blind side, kicks it over the try line, picked up by Alan Hunt. Just clears his line. So it'll be a nice set of 6. You've got to hold it now, Salford, and then they'll put boot to ball. Clear up this last 3 minutes now. Alker out to Baines. It's held up by Wayne Jones, but good yards from the substitute Neil Baines. Maybe that's what Barrow like, just a nice big forward like that. Oh, and Clinch, is it finding the gap? He's got a man over, tighten him in. Gives it out to Flowers. Chased back by Edabor, shoves Edabor off. But good covering again by Barrow.
Yeah, and it makes you realise that pace of Jason Flowers, not the paciest of people. Great, solid, determined running, no doubt about that, but there was a well-worked try. Now there must be something on here, there's so many men over, and the man over is Simon Baldwin. Finally scores another try for Salford that's been a long time coming in the 79th minute of the game. In the end, it was a well-worked try, particularly the break up the middle, which included your man of the match, David Heighton, and Jason Flowers in support. Not enough pace to get over himself, but over on the left, the Barrow defence have been sucked in, but heads can be held high without a doubt.
Yeah, it's 22-6, but Barrow give everything out there. They couldn't have done any more. It could have been a lot more. A lot of teams maybe have folded at one time, but Barrow's defence has been very good again today. I think the only little lapse was earlier on when Malcolm Alker picked up that ball for the second try of the game. Barrow had gone asleep. They just changed the full back, and maybe Adam Pate wasn't quite sure where he was, and Malcolm Alker. But bar for that, Barrow's defence has been really well. And as I say, Steve was saying before, it is a bit alarming. Again, it was a nice big break from David Heighton, and he found Jason Flowers, and remember Jason Flowers from his Castleford days. I would have put money on him scoring that, but Shane Idabord, I mean, I know he's no slouch, but there was 3 or 4 Barrow men got round him. And there is the final hooter. We'll go through the second half scoring, and it was the ex-Barrow standoff who put the final nail in the coffin for Barrow, I think, on 54 minutes. It was Radney Bowker. It was from a scrum. Barrow give the ball away, big gap open, Bowker just cruised through, and that was game for Salford, making it 16-2, and converted by Clinch, making it 18-2. Bit of hope for Barrow on 71 minutes when Jamie Marshall got his just rewards, and he went in at the corner to pull it back to 18 points to 6, too far out for Manahara. But there, just with the final hooter coming, Barrow again caught at 6s and 7s. They know they've been in a game here, and they looked absolutely shattered down there, and it was just the defence had come in, and then it was a long ball from Clinch. He found Simon Baldwin out wide, and it walked in at the corner to make a final score of Barrow 6, Salford 22. Well, they'll go out the cup, Barrow, but they've given out a good performance here. They've held this First Division team with a lot of full-time professionals in, and say mainly all local lads in the Barrow team, but can't say that they didn't deserve it, Salford. They plodded away, and the sign of a better team is that they can take all the attack, he can hold you out and then come back and score tries, and that's what Salford have done here today. Anything to say, Steve, on summing up?
No, from a Salford point of view, I can't see this team getting back into Super League. We've got our first real test next week against Leigh Centurions at the Coliseum, and looking forward to it.
Well, that will have taken a bit out of Salford. Kyle Harrison's got to regroup them. As I say, they're a bit short of match practice, and obviously they will get better. They're bringing Steve Blakely, who's a classy standoff, not taking that away from Rodney Bowker, because we'd have him back. But we'll sign off anyway. Barrow getting a fully deserved round of applause there, losing to Salford 22-6. It's back to the Arriva Cup next week. I think they're at Whitehaven away, but after seeing this result, maybe Whitehaven will be a bit frightened. So Barrow losing here 22 points to 6.